Hello everyone, it's Joel Davis with the United Medical Transportation Providers Group, and this is going to be a very important and enlightening video. And the reason why is, first and foremost, I'm actually going to break one of my own rules. I'm going to show you some of the other organizations and how they are affiliated, but it's necessary. I have to show you. I'm not endorsing or advertising, but I have to show you to demonstrate and underscore some very important realities. And the reason, we're going to jump on the computer in a minute and I'm going to walk you through their websites, because it's one thing for me to sit here and tell you, but it's quite another thing for me to show you. As the old saying goes, some people, they can't be told the truth, they have to be shown the truth. So I am literally going to jump on the computer and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now, let me thank all of you who send us emails. I wanted to make this video a few days earlier, but honestly, we've just been so swamped, and that's a great problem to have. But we've been very busy. We have so much to do, and there's just no other way. I had to commit to making this. But so many of you send us great emails, keeping us up to date and informed. The email and the websites I'm going to show you right now in a minute are from multiple people sent us this information, and I appreciate it. Because when you guys send in information regarding logistic care, some of their recent acquisitions, or like this HEROS Act that I'm going to walk you through, it further underscores and allows us to keep our pulse on the industry across the nation. So that's one of the key benefits we have in working with so many different client providers from around the country, is we get to see and see what works, see how the industry is being affected in different places, and it definitely is, especially right now as we come through this pandemic nonsense. You could clearly see a difference of where states have opened up and how NEMT providers are prospering, and in other states that remain closed and they're just being cut off and isolated and they're hurting. It's very unfortunate, unnecessary, and painfully tragic to witness. So I could go off on that tangent for quite some time, so I'm going to cut it off there. Let's jump on the computer, because again, my goal, this is a very important video, watch the whole thing. This is going to underscore many of the things I talked about in previous videos, but this is a classic example of where some people, they cannot be told the truth, they have to be shown the truth. Again, thank you all for sending me this email and this information. We always appreciate it. But before I go through breaking down this HEROS Act, I want to quickly focus in on this organization, this Community Transportation Association of America. Now, whenever I see the word community, the first thing it does is it scares me, because I know it's not talking about my business or your business, it's community. So understand, anything that they're involved in has to do with the quote-unquote community and has nothing to do with your business. It's big government nonsense. Case in point, let's start by looking at the board of directors. Now, I don't know any of these people per se, but you could see Oregon, South Dakota, New Jersey, Michigan, Oregon, North Carolina, Vermont, Iowa, Virginia, and the list goes on and on, down, so many people. That's great. Again, nothing against them. Kudos to them. They're all hardworking people. They're doing their job, building the quote-unquote community. Good for them. That's awesome. But again, I will argue that that is more about a bigger organization and nothing about your business per se. Case in point, let's look at some of the membership options. If you want to join their membership, how to join, depends on what group you want to come in at. If you want to be a non-emergency medical transportation provider, dues start at $250 plus $25 for every vehicle, caps out at $3,000. So that's going to be a good money maker for them. Training, a lot of people will contact us about certification. Joel, how can I get certified for this and for that? Here's their complex. Love it. That's awesome. That looks top shelf. Let's look at some of the pricing depending on what you want to do. $6,500 to $7,000, $6,500 to $7,000 for non-members, $7,000 to $7,500 for non-members. Dispatching, you want to learn about dispatching, $6,500 if you're a member, $7,000 if you're not a member, and the list goes on and on. Again, we could break down this website in greater detail, but that's not the purpose of the goal of this video. I want to go back to this HEROS Act that so many of you have sent me information on. Again, thank you all for sending me this information. The HEROS Act, a long-awaited opportunity for NEMT, question mark. Well, is it really? Let's dive in and start dissecting some of the particulars. The HERO Act, first bullet, codifies the regulatory requirement. Now let's stop right there. Codifies the regulatory requirement. Operative word there, codifies. Well, why would it need to be codified? We already have the regulatory requirement. The Social Security Administration guarantees that the Medicaid program is going to cover the non-emergency transportation needs for medical purposes for low-income people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We all know that. So why do we need to have it, quote-unquote, codified? This speaks to Obamacare. Now, what was one of the most adversely impactful influencers to the non-emergency medical transportation industry? Obamacare. Why? Because all it did was empower and exponentially multiply the size, the volume, the presence, the strength, the resources, and the power of Medicaid brokers. They started popping up on every corner. And in so doing, what did it help eliminate? A lot of the Medicaid waiver programs. Now, the Medicaid waiver programs gave a great deal of flexibility and autonomy at the state level. So by codifying the regulatory requirements, we are empowering the existing policies that were implemented by Obamacare and further ensuring that we don't bring back state independence or state choice to implement or deploy the waiver programs. Now, the waiver programs, again, give states more autonomy and allow them to increase rates of reimbursement and reimburse some of the medical transportation providers directly and allow them to sidestep a lot of the Medicaid brokers in many instances. So when you look at this HEROS Act, you have to first ask yourself, who does it benefit? Does it benefit you, or does it benefit the brokers or some other organization? Well, in this instance, it clearly benefits Medicaid brokers. They want to codify the regulatory requirements and ensure that states do not regain that autonomy to deploy Medicaid waivers. Let's go to the next bullet. Address Medicaid program integrity related to NEMT. Include funding for a GAO study. Oh, of course, because we need more funding for more studies because that's what big government needs, right? Let's go to the next one. Convenes a stakeholder working group. Very interesting. We're going to explore this in a second. Convenes a stakeholder working group for a series of meetings because, again, over bloated, bureaucratic organization, they obviously need more meetings. I mean, we need meetings to set up meetings. So let's have some more meetings and have more stakeholders. Wait till I show you in a minute who the real stakeholders are. Let's go to the next one. Create NEMT provider and driver requirements that ensure each individual driver has a valid driver license, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Guess what? We already have all that pretty much everywhere, every state. Next bullet, requires the analysis of submission of congressional report because, again, we need to have congressional reports. Let's have some more meetings. Let's have some more stakeholders. Let's have some more reports and some more studies, blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Here's what I really want to show you. And this goes on and on. It's all diatribe, governmental, big, bureaucratic, overbloated nonsense. But here's where it really gets interesting. CTAA encourages any members interested in this issue to message the representative and senators. Why senators? Because this HEROS Act already passed in the Congress, but it hasn't passed in the Senate. So they specifically want you to contact your senators, not congressmen. They're already pushing you. They're already telling you which way to vote. So don't vote yay or nay. They're already saying you want to vote yay. So contact your senators because this is going to be dead on arrival in the Senate. So they want your help to benefit them. And I'm going to show you something very interesting momentarily. So let's see. Regarding previously introduced House and Senate NEMT bills, and as well as the NEMT provisions in the HEROS Act, despite the encouraging movements these past few months, we are not yet to the finish line with regarding the protection. Ooh, we got to protect it. Protect this bill. The protection of the NEMT benefits. Protection of the NEMT benefit. That is such a play on words because it is already mandated and guaranteed by the Social Security Administration. They're not going to defund it. They're going to increase funding regardless. People are still going to get their NEMT for those on Medicaid. This is such propaganda, and I'm going to demonstrate exactly why they're pushing this propaganda. Again, I can't tell you the truth. I'm going to show you the truth. Here's where it gets really interesting. This is so awesome. So use the new Contact Congress tool created by who? I'm going to say that again. Use the new Contact Congress tool created by who? Our partners. Who? Our partners. Who? Our partners at the Medical Transportation Access Coalition. Here's where we get down to the nitty-gritty and the true motivation behind all of this nonsense. Again, this is exactly why you can't always tell people the truth. You have to show them the truth. So let me underscore this again. Use the new Contact Congress tool created by our partners at the Medical Transportation Access Coalition. Let's click on that and see who they are. Let's see who the partners of this Community Transportation Association is. Let's see who their partners are. Oh, MTAC, Medical Transportation Access Coalition. Well, that sounds exceptionally official, professional. Well, maybe we should learn more about them. I love it. I mean, look, they feature Medical Transportation 101 about MTAC, their policies, their advocacy. Wow, this is exceptional. Whoever put this together, whatever organization this is, they truly care about my business. And even more, they actually care about the elderly people and the providers, the first responders and the caregivers. They definitely care about that. So whoever this MTAC is, this Medical Transportation Access Coalition, I know they have got to be official. So let's learn about it. Who are the founding members of this organization? Oh wow. So the founding members are Logisticare, MTM, and Southeast Trans. Wow. Oh wow. Well, I wasn't expecting that. So Logisticare, MTM, Southeast Trans, all three of them got together. They're the founding members of MTAC. Oh, wow. So maybe there's some collusion here? Maybe this is the real Russian collusion. Yeah, maybe the Russians made them do it. Oh, wow. So the Russians conspired with Logisticare, MTM, and Southeast Trans to form MTAC because they care so much about my business, and that's why they keep driving down the rates of reimbursement. Oh, wow. So the Russians are behind this. Oh, the Russians did that. Oh, okay. Well, let's see who their allies and affiliated providers are. Well, I mean, the founding members are Logisticare, MTM, Southeast Trans. Let's see who their allies are and their affiliated providers. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The Community Transportation Association of America. Oh, wow. Blue Cross, Blue Shield. Oh, wow. Lyft. Oh, man. Uber Health. Oh, wow. So wait a minute. When I go to all those conventions and I sit with all the barking seals and, oh, wow, look at this, a national council. Oh, wow. So when I go to these conventions and I go to these national organizations and I get my free lanyard and I get to work in the breakout sessions and they try to upsell me on everything and they're all advertised by Uber and Lyft, Southeast Trans. So Joel, you're trying to tell me that Logisticare, MTM, and Southeast Trans, that they have a vested interest in passing this HEROS bill? No, what I'm saying is it's the Russians. The Russians did it. The Russians made them do it. It's Russian collusion. So let's go back to the very beginning. Here we are at the HEROS bill, and it looks so official. Community activism. We care so much about the patients and our providers. $3 trillion worth of funding to codify the regulatory requirements, convene stakeholders, include funding, create provider policies and requirements, etc., etc. You have got to ask yourself who is behind this and who benefits the most. Well, did you learn anything? I encourage you to do this. Whenever you are presented with information or a situation, whether it's broker-based or any organization you're doing work with, and they change policies, procedures, have news or new information to share and distribute, rather than your first question being, how does this affect my business? Let your first question be, who does this benefit? If you first ask yourself, who does this benefit? By almost reverse engineering and answering that question, you could better diagnose and accurately apply and answer, how does this affect your business? I hope you appreciate it. I hope you learned. Some people I could talk some blue in the face and they still won't get it, because to them, their opinion of me is I'm just that get rich quick guy on YouTube or whatever your opinion is. So therefore, it would be easy for me to just tell you about this, but it was important that I take the extra step and the extra time to literally show you. You won't talk about Russian collusion. I just showed it to you. You got the nation's largest and worst broker, Logisticare, followed easily by the nation's second and worst broker, MTM. You could argue about Southeast Trans, but regardless, you saw the collusion between them and the influence and impact they have with their partners who are all pushing these acts. Again, don't ask how it affects your business. First ask, who does it benefit? And when you answer those questions, you're going to better diagnose the influence on your business. And when you do, well, I'm going to see you at the top.